Okay. Good evening and welcome to the closed session portion of the meeting for October 7th, 2025. I will call this meeting to order at 4:32. Nicole, can I have roll call, please?
Councilmember Finn?
Here.
Councilmember Martinez?
Councilmember Martinez will be joining us in closed session.
Councilmember White?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Voigt?
Here.
Mayor Lara?
Here. Public comments. Nicole, do we have any public comments?
I have no written requests.
Okay. This meeting.
Sorry,
okay,
I'll see if
about
we,
that.
do we have any callers on the line?
No callers.
Okay, this meeting will be open to the public and conducted in a virtual format to be inclusive of all participation preferences. Public comment participation is encouraged by emailing comments to the city clerk's office or by calling in using the phone number provided at the front of the agenda. And we have no public comments and nobody calling in. Mr. Pinckney, would you please read off the items for closed session?
Yes, the council will meet in closed session. Item B1 is public employee appointment, employment, and that position is the city manager. B2, conference with real property negotiators, and the property APN is 418-360-003. The agency negotiator, city manager or designee. The negotiating parties are City of Beaumont and Domica RE Investments LLC. Item B3 is conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, and that involves one potential case. And then item B4 is conference with legal counsel, anticipated initiation of litigation involving two potential cases.
Thank you, Mr. Pinckney.
Yeah.
Mayor, I need to let you know that I'm going to recuse myself on one of the cases on B4.
Okay.
And the reason for that is it's involves a dispute with the Park District. And the city manager's husband has in the past done some work with the Park District.
Okay. So with that, we will adjourn to closed session. We're ready? All right. Well, and we are back from closed session. I will now call the regular session to order at 6:23. Nicole, can I have roll call, please?
Councilmember Finn.
Here.
Councilmember Martinez.
Here.
Councilmember White.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Voigt.
Here.
Mayor Laura.
Here. I do want to clarify for the record that Councilmember Martinez was in attendance at closed session at 5:24. Mr. Pinckney, can you please report out from closed session?
Yes, the council met in closed session. Item B1 was public employee appointment, employment, and the title of the position was city manager. There was no reportable action taken on that item. Item B2, conference with real property negotiators. The property is described in the agenda. There was no reportable action taken on that item. Item B3, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation involving one potential case. There was no reportable action taken on that item. And item B4, conference with legal counsel, anticipated initiation of litigation, two potential cases. There was no reportable action taken on that item.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pinckney. We have any requests for excused absences? Seeing none brings us to this evening. We will have an invocation by Pastor Eddie Gonzalez with Legacy of Faith Tabernacle, and Pledge of Allegiance this evening will be by Mayor Pro Tem Jessica Voigt. Please stand.
All right, let's pray. Lord, we're so grateful tonight for your faithfulness, your kindness, and all the good things that you've brought our way in our life. And we're so thankful again for this opportunity to call upon your name and seek your wisdom, seek your spirit. God, seeking a unity spirit, seeking a desire to work together. And that's what I'm praying that happens here in this place, that you would overshadow us once again and allow us, Lord, to work for the betterment of our community. I pray for your wisdom and for your understanding, Lord Jesus, to flow to us. Help us to hear from heaven what you have to say and to give us, Lord Jesus, an understanding of what's going to work best for our community. Bless our leaders and all the members of the city of Beaumont and all the residents, Lord, that are here to represent, Lord, their interests and their concerns for the betterment of this community. We ask you for your guidance, for your blessings. Help us, Lord Jesus, to respect one another and to treat each other with dignity. God, and to hear what we have to say to one another, always respecting, Lord, our intention is to do something that is pleasing to you. We surrender our will to yours tonight. Have your way in each and every one of us. We thank you for this opportunity once again to lead your people of this community. In the mighty name of Jesus, we pray. And everybody said amen.
Amen.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have any adjustments to the agenda? Adjustments? Okay. Any conflict of interest or disclosure? Seeing none, that brings us to item E, announcements, recognition, proclamations, correspondence. Item E1 is a proclamation for the Community Planning Month.
So I'll go ahead and read that. Whereas sound planning and proactive community development are essential for creating sustainable, vibrant, and prosperous communities in Beaumont, and whereas the Beaumont Community Development Department Planning Division, along with countless residents, volunteers, commissioners, and stakeholders, work tirelessly to shape the future of our city through thoughtful design and responsible growth. And whereas effective planning addresses complex challenges related to housing affordability, environmental sustainability, economic development, public health, and transportation. And whereas celebrating planning raises public awareness about the benefits of well-planned communities and encourages greater civic participation in shaping our shared future. Therefore, be it proclaimed that the month of October 2025 be recognized as Community Planning Month, and call citizens to join in celebrating the importance of the planning field and to thank the dedicated professionals and volunteers who help build a better community for us all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, members of the City Council, as a city planner by trade, I know how difficult a city planner position is, so I'd like to thank you for recognizing our planners here today, and I'd like to ask them for an opportunity to take a picture with you.
Yeah.
Come on up, guys. Yeah.
Gathered in the will? Yep. Got everyone? Stephen?
Okay, and that brings us to item E2, Proclamation for Co-Compliance Month. Whereas the month of October is designated as National Co-Compliance Month throughout the United States to recognize and celebrate the positive role code enforcement and community enhancement has in its communities. And whereas code enforcement and community enhancement provides for the safety, health, and welfare of residents and businesses through the enforcement of local, state, and federal laws and ordinances dealing with various issues of building, zoning, and housing. And whereas code enforcement and community enhancement officers are dedicated, highly qualified, and highly trained professionals who share the goals of preventing neighborhood deterioration, enhancing communities, and ensuring safety preservation through the education, knowledge of housing, zoning, and nuisance laws. And whereas code enforcement and community enhancement officers often have a highly visible role in the communities they serve and regularly interact with the public and a variety of federal, state, county, and local officials. And whereas the City of Beaumont recognizes and honors code enforcement and community enhancement officers who continue to serve the community in a variety of ways to improve the quality of life for residents and businesses. Therefore, be it proclaimed that the month of October 2025 be recognized as National Code Compliance Month, and call upon its residents to join in recognizing and expressing their appreciation for the dedication and service of Beaumont's code enforcement and community enhancement officers. Thank you.
And Mayor and Council, as with our planning team, our code enforcement officers have a very difficult job and sometimes underappreciated, so we are very grateful for your recognition here. We'd like to also ask them to come up and take a picture.
Sure.
Double whammy.
And that brings us to item E3, Proclamation for Fire Prevention Week.
It is my honor to read this proclamation. Whereas the City of Beaumont is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living in Beaumont and visiting, and whereas fire remains a serious public safety concern both locally and nationally, and the presence of lithium-ion batteries in many household devices introduces unique fire risk, and whereas most of the electronics used in homes daily, including smartphones, tablets, laptops, power tools, e-bikes, e-scooters, and toys are powered by lithium-ion batteries, which if misused, damaged, or improperly charged can overheat, start a fire, or explode. And whereas the National Fire Protection Association reports an increase in battery-related fires, underscoring the need for public education on the safe use of lithium-ion batteries. And whereas residents should follow 3 key calls to action, but buy only listed products, charge batteries safely, and recycle them responsibly to prevent battery-related fires. And whereas lithium-ion batteries store a large amount of energy in a small space, and improper use such as overcharging, using off-brand chargers without safety certification, or exposing batteries to damage can result in fire or explosion. And whereas the proper disposal and recycling of lithium-ion batteries help prevent environmental hazards and reduce fire risks in the home and community. And whereas Beaumont's first responders are dedicated to reducing the occurrence of fires through prevention, safety education, and community outreach. And whereas the 2025 Fire Prevention Week theme, Charge into Fire Safety, Lithium-Ion Batteries in Your Home, serves to remind us of the importance of using, charging, and recycling lithium-ion batteries safely to reduce the risk of fires in homes and communities. Therefore, be it proclaimed that October 5th through the 11th, 2025 be recognized as Fire Prevention Week throughout Beaumont.
Good.
We
We have fire, do we want them?
Yeah.
Yes.
And as a fire wife, I would like to say that this is very important to keep our first responders safe as well.
Thought Gus was going to tell us he'd been a firefighter too.
Okay, this brings us to item E4, demonstration of capital improvement plan and GIS webpage.
Yeah, good evening, council. I'd like to introduce Xiomara, solid waste and recycling. What's your title? Manager.
Management analyst.
So Public Works has been developing a CIP GIS website. Xiomara kindly lended her expertise in the design of it. The city was able to hire an intern, and that intern was able to really gather a lot of information and produce a lot of the results that Xiomara is going to show you. In addition to the city's own Bradley, the GIS, is he an analyst? Specialist technician? Yeah, so a lot of departments came together on this one, and I'll turn it over to Xiomara.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and City Council. It is my pleasure to introduce to you the Capital Improvement Project, otherwise known as the CIP Interactive GIS Map. This is a quick, time-saving way for anyone to check on the status of a project that they're interested in the city. This is also a great way for the public to discover upcoming CIP projects that are being worked on by our team. You can find the new interactive map in the Public Works portion of the city website under the CIP tab. IT, can you share my screen? There we go. Okay, if you just go over to Departments, under Public Works and the CIP tab, just click on that. And scroll down. And click on the image of the map, and you're in. The map is divided into 5 status tabs. The first tab is all projects on the map. Following is all completed projects. Next is future projects that are still in the feasibility stage or are scheduled for future fiscal years. Then there's the in-design phase. And last but most exciting, in my opinion, under construction. Each status is color-coded on the map for easy distinction within the map, as you could see. Within each project, you will find information. You will find the project type, the total cost, the project status, a brief description, and the estimated closeout date. There's also a snapshot of the map that's highlighted, so you could see where the project is being worked on. And under the tab, you could also click on here and see more information. If the viewer wants to see more information, I'll take you back to that. You could click under the tabs, or you could also click on the project number in the map, and it'll give you the same information as we just saw. Okay. I would also like to note that we will continue to improve on the map as needed and continually update the map. And as Robert mentioned, I would like to thank 2 staff members who made this map come to fruition. Our amazing GIS analyst, Bradley Barnhart, and just as amazing, our Public Works intern, Ashton Boer. This concludes my presentation, and if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Do we have any public comments on this?
I have no written requests. Vivian, do we have any callers on the line?
I submitted one.
As well.
I'm sorry.
On this particular item?
The officer told me, well, animals, but the officer told me he was gonna give it to him.
That'll be,
That'll be the next item.
that'll be in
Oh, it's
public.
on the agenda?
It'll
Public
be
comments
under
for
item F.
items.
For this. Okay.
That'll be the next one.
No, it'll be
the
under
next one.
item F. Thank you, though. Open it for council comments?
I have one comment.
Yes, sir.
When we first moved here 20 years ago, the city had a page that was something like what's going on there, or what's that, and it was a whole bunch of wishes. So I do appreciate this. I think it's a great improvement, and I think it'll be very useful. So thank you.
Councilmember Finn?
I remember the same thing years ago. I do appreciate what was put together. I think it's a great tool. Are we going to advertise it and tell the world? Awesome, thank you.
Councilmember Martinez?
No, I agree. It's great, very responsive, and it helps us as council too, because sometimes we kind of forget. Let's say, okay, we've got project, just go right to it. It reminds us the cost and where it's located and everything. So I really enjoy it, and I know the public will. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Mayor Pro Tem Boyd?
Yeah, I wanted to just highlight that while we were up here, I was able to pull it up on my cell phone. So it's nice that it is formatted into cell phone view, and it does help us, as Councilmember Martinez said, on the fly for us to be able to do that. So thank you guys for all of your hard work on that, because there's so many times that we are asked on the fly, how much does that cost, or what's going on with that project. So not only does it give us the opportunity, but also allows us to spread it like wildfire, right, to other people asking us. So thank you guys for your hard work.
Thank you.
Excellent job. I appreciate that very much. I won't have to bug Elizabeth with questions that I get from the public anymore, so you're welcome. So, Robert, thank you and your team. Xiomara, thank you very much for that presentation. That brings us to item F, public comment period. Any one person may address the city council on any matter not on this agenda. If If you wish to speak, please fill out a public comment form provided at the back table and give it to the city clerk. There is a 3-minute time limit on public comments. There will be no passing or sharing of time to another person. State law prohibits the city council from discussing or taking actions brought up by your comments. Nicole, do we have any public comments at this time?
Yes, sir. I have 3 in person. First one is going to be Douglas Emery.
Good evening, Council Mayor. My name is Douglas Emery. I'm the new president of the Beaumont Cherry Valley Rotary Club, and honored to be here to talk to the council members and staff. So as you know, the Beaumont Cherry Valley Rotary Club has been in existence for 67 years, same age as myself. And I'm here to invite the council members to participate in our 54th annual Senior Thanksgiving Luncheon invitation. As some of you know, you participated in previous years, and we appreciate the help. So I'm going to hand this over for passing on to yourself. It's Saturday, November 15th at the Chatney Center. We're at 11:15. We have an opening ceremony, entertainment, and 12 noon. You'll see a lot of Rotarians and other dignitaries, hopefully yourself, serving food to the seniors in our community. Last year, we had over 150 local seniors from the Beaumont area coming in and getting served a great meal of full turkey dinner and traditional sides. We had the pleasure of having Councilmember Julio Martinez and Councilmember Lloyd White serving last year, along with other dignitaries from Rotary International. And we had 35 Rotary Interact youth, mostly from the Beaumont Unified School District, helping out, setting up. They do a fantastic job. And we had the Beaumont High School providing music, so we plan to do the same thing. So I included a picture of some of you in action here in the flyer. So some of you were so busy serving, you didn't have time for a smile, so I apologize for the picture there. So I'm going to hand this over. I'd like to invite different council members and maybe former Rotarian to come back and help serve our seniors in the Beaumont area. It's free of charge, by special invitation to the seniors, those that are without family, the widows and widowers, and those that need a good Thanksgiving meal. So thank you for this opportunity, and thank you for everything you're doing for the city of Beaumont.
Doug, sorry.
Go ahead.
Just one question. Could you say the date and the time?
Yes, I'm sorry.
November 15th.
It's Saturday, November 15th.
Perfect.
So there's advance notice. I know you're all busy, so I know it's a little bit early, but I'd rather early than late. Saturday, November 15th, you know, if we're going to come and serve around 11:45, we have gloves your size and spoons to. Oh, okay, well, we just want to make sure they end up with 10 fingers. When they came in with 10 fingers, so exactly, so thank you
Mayor,
very
I'd
much
like
for
to
this.
make a comment if I could.
Yes, please.
I will definitely be there. I don't think I've missed one yet.
Oh, wow, thank you.
But in defense of our not smiling, we have big portions and small plates. And so we have to make sure that we put it so it's not touching the other food and it's not falling off the plate. So
Councilmember White,
focus.
as always, good feedback. We'll take that into consideration. So thank you very much.
I heard the smiling was so they wouldn't spill gravy out of the side of their mouth, but that's the word on the street anyways.
Those are your words, not mine.
Thank you.
Thank you, President Emery.
Next speaker is John Morrison.
Mr. Mayor and members of the council, thank you for hearing me today. I'm here today to request that the city allocate funds for the construction of an animal shelter for the city of Beaumont, or at the very least contract with an existing animal shelter, since there has been no contracts for the last 21 months. The number of strays has increased dramatically since the city ended its contract 21 months ago. The city currently has 3 small kennels, which is vastly inadequate for the number of stray pets in the area. I have been told that in 5 years will there be an animal shelter in the city of Beaumont, but I'm telling you right now that 5 years is too long to wait. We need action now. My wife and I have been homeowners in Beaumont for the last 15 years. And of course, you know, the population has increased dramatically in Beaumont in those 15 years. And that means not only more people, but more pets. And unfortunately, more irresponsible people, such as backyard breeders who breed pets for profit and dump the animals they can't sell. And also people who dump sick or injured or elderly pets on the street who can't afford or cannot or are unwilling to pay for their vet bills. Many residents of Beaumont have stepped up to house these pets, but it's not enough. It's not enough by a long shot. And frankly, asking residents to do the job of the city is grossly shameful, in my opinion. Now, I'm here to ask for three things. One, the animal shelter. Two, enforcement of existing regulations against backyard breeders, unvaccinated and unfixed pets, the dumping of animals, and negligent owners who let their pets run free. There are statutes on the books, but they're not being enforced enough. And the third thing is be city sponsorship of a low-cost spay and neuter vaccinations once a month. Anyone who owns a pet in the last 5 years knows how much the pet bills have increased. And this means that people are not getting their animals fixed. They're not going to pay $400 and $500 to get their animals fixed. So this is just compounding the problem by not getting their animals fixed. I realize this is an expensive ask, but this is a public safety and, in my opinion, a moral one. Pets running free in the streets is a safety hazard. It ties up traffic. Swerving to avoid animals can cause crashes. Feral animals are in danger of attacking people, including children and other pets. And don't forget the psychological toll of running over someone's pet or seeing dead pets on the side of the road. Please do the right thing and allocate money for the people and pets of Beaumont. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments.
Next speaker is Connie Mendoza.
Ditto under that. I'm going to read mine because it's right 3 minutes. My name is Connie Mendoza. I'm here representing the Four Seasons of Beaumont senior community. Of approximately 1,852 homes and approximately 1,200 dogs that live with these seniors as their companions and pets. I have been a resident of this community for 14 years. Many years ago, we had a small orphan dog running around our community for over a week. As you know, we have many coyotes, bobcats, and other predators watching for our pets. No one would loan us a trap to catch this small dog in the middle of hot summer. So 4 of our animal lover residents, including myself, began what is known today as Tails and Trails Rescue, helping pets and our residents. We held fundraisers to purchase traps, microchip scanners, along with many rescue needs of bite gloves, slip leads, and collapsible water bowls, etc. With seniors, we have many loose dogs through our years, with gardeners and caregivers leaving gates open, wind blows them, and some of our frail seniors are not able to go out and retrieve their pets. Since that time, we have had 389 rescues in our gated community. That's 389 dogs that animal control was not called to our community upon to handle or are running loose on our streets. The last few years, we seem to be the dumping ground, as many more dumped dogs and strays. People know we will and can care for them. We have exhausted all of our finances with helping to spay, microchip, and get shots, begging our residents to adopt these pets that no one has claimed. The last few years now, more and more loose animals are making their way into our gates, many being dumped at the Highland Springs entrance to Four Seasons and Sun Lakes, both sides. And we work too alongside that group to help rehome our unwanted pets. Our elderly and vibrant residents are no longer feeling safe walking our small pets into the mailbox or on our daily walks with our many loose animals showing up on our streets. I myself and our team have spent hundreds of hours and dollars helping these pets along with our own pets that we cannot continue to be a shelter for the city of Beaumont. They're in our garages. Please, please, please get us a shelter to where these loving animals that humans have totally let down have a safe place to stay in the meantime that a rescue or an adoption to a loving home can be found. We need a place for owners to find and retrieve their lost pets. Many of these are now running pregnant through the streets with 7 puppies following it. I see it often. That will be reproducing soon if not stopped immediately. I cannot imagine the children cannot walk to school safely without stray large dogs scaring them. Some now are spreading diseases and are emaciated. Please get us a shelter soon. The need is immediate. Daily, the Pass area lost and found pet sites are full of dogs wandering our streets. So heartbreaking. Thank you, Connie Mendoza. And we
Thank you very much
appreciate
for your
any
comments.
help that we can get on this, please. Soon.
Mayor, I'd like to make a comment if I could.
Yes.
We hear you. And I want you to understand that your concerns are our concerns. And we are working right now with our neighbors to come up with a solution, pass area solution, that is both temporary as well as a long-term plan for a shelter. So we're working on it. And we understand, I think every one of us is a dog owner ourselves or have been. So just want to let you know that we are working on it.
Thank you, Councilmember Wade.
Vivian, do we have any callers on the line?
No callers.
And I have no other written comments.
Thank you very much. That brings us to the consent calendar, item G. Items on the consent calendar are taken as one action unless an item is pulled for further discussion here or at the end of action items. Approval of all ordinances and resolutions to be read by title only. Is there any items which to be pulled for discussion, or do I have a motion?
Mayor, if there's no questions, then I'll make a motion to approve consent items G1 through G9.
Have a roll call, please.
Councilmember Finn,
Yes.
Councilmember Martinez,
Yes.
Councilmember White,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Voigt,
Yes.
Mayor Laura.
Yes. That brings us to Youth Council report, item H.
None, Mayor, and I need to correct my grammar. I said no is, oh my gosh, I'm gonna hear it
It's
from the
okay.
teachers. Oh, boy.
It's
No.
it's recorded.
It's recorded, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. That brings us to item I, public hearings. A public hearing to consider an ordinance amendment, Chapter 15, Buildings and Construction of the Beaumont Municipal Code. Mr. Jones?
Thank you, Your Honor. Stephen Jones with the Community Development Department. Staff recommends, actually, that this item be continued to the regular meeting of October 21st. The brief continuance will allow staff additional time to review recent changes in the state legislation and ensure proposed amendments are fully aligned with the current state law prior to ordinance introduction and final council action.
Okay, well, go ahead and open up the public comments at this time. So what I'll do is open up the public comment, public hearing, excuse me, at 6:55. Nicole, do we have any public comments for this?
I have no written requests. Vivian, do we have any callers on the line?
No callers.
Okay. So will I close it or just leave it open until we reconvene on, okay.
You'll just continue the public hearing.
And
So-
what was the date?
October 21st would be our next council.
Do we need a motion to continue?
Yes.
I'll make
we
a
can do
motion to continue this item to October 21st, our next regular scheduled meeting.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Finn,
Yes.
Councilmember Martinez,
Yes.
Councilmember White,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Voigt,
Yes.
Mayor Laura.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Jones. That brings us to action items J, award a 3-year cooperative acceptance agreement to Cintas Corporation for uniform rental and laundry services.
Thank you, Council. As part of our MOU with employees, we're to provide uniforms and laundering services. This staff report before you today is a summary of the process that we took to get to the cooperative agreement with Cintas. Our recommendation is for you to approve the cooperative agreement through what's allowed in our municipal code through an alternative procedures of procurement process, which is the co-op agreement with them. We're recommending that you approve the 3-year Workplace Solutions Cooperative Acceptance Agreement with Cintas. That'll help us provide uniforms. We did note that it is slightly under the city manager's signing authority, but we are, because it's a 3-year agreement and there's a possibility of some more employees coming, there's a possibility that'll probably creep up a little bit more in the future. And so we just want to be preemptive and bring it to council to get your approval for it. So if you have any questions, I'd love to answer them.
Sure, thank you, Mr. Story. Nicole, do we have any public comments on this item?
I have no written requests. Vivian, do we have any callers on the line?
No callers.
I'll open it up for council discussion or a motion. Mayor Pro Tem Boyd?
Yeah, no further discussion. I'll make a motion to approve the recommended action.
I'll second. Yeah, roll call, please.
Councilmember Finn,
Yes.
Councilmember Martinez,
Yes.
Councilmember White,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Voigt,
Yes.
Mayor Laura.
Yes. Brings us to item J2. Ms. Mendoza. Tyler Technology purchase order request.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Before you, you have our Tyler Technology purchase order request for approval. Tyler serves as the city's enterprise resource planning vendor, which is basically multiple software platforms from everything from finance to our budget to AR, accounts receivable, accounts payable, all the way to permitting through planning, the planning department, and our utility billing sewer operations. So it runs the gamut. We've tried to break out all the modules for you, showing you the utility billing. We'd like to add the Easy Pay module this year. It's a no-fee cost, so that we can have a online utility by credit card payment direct into the system. Again, our enterprise licensing, our financials, including payroll. And then last but not least, during the budget process, you all approved a enhancement of $40,000 for Tyler Assist Basic. So that in essence puts it over the city manager's signing authority this year. So we have before you, we tried to consolidate everything into one to make it easier said and done. Shout out to our principal management analyst for putting this together with Elizabeth and I. It was quite the feat from IT all the way to planning and public works and sewer, trying to put all the facets in one place for you. You saw recently, I think 2 council meetings ago, we had a budget adjustment, or I'm sorry, a PO amendment for sewer because they went slightly over, right? So now this year, here we are, but we're trying to get ahead of it and get it in front of you at the beginning of the year. So I would just ask that you authorize the purchase order not to exceed the $280,000, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Nicole, do we have any public comments on this item?
I have no written requests. Vivian, do we have any callers on the line?
No callers.
Then I will open it up for council discussion or a motion. Councilmember White?
I'll move to approve the recommended action.
I'll second.
A roll call, please.
Councilmember Finn,
Yes.
Councilmember Martinez,
Yes.
Councilmember White,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Voigt,
Yes.
Mayor Laura.
Yes. That brings us to item J3, truck route implementation discussion.
Yeah, thank you,
Robert
Mayor.
Vestal, PowerPoint extraordinaire.
So on August 20th, 2024, council approved the city's truck priority route and also directed staff to initiate a truck prohibition study aimed at removing trucks on city streets. This item is a discussion about that. We have before you a proposed ordinance that will bring back if council is interested in that. And then also go over some of the streets that our consultant and staff felt were identified to be prohibited. So this is kind of the complementary act from the truck route priority route, excuse me. So with that, I'll introduce our consultant, Jolene Hayes from Fair and Piers.
Good evening, council members. Nice to see you again. My name is Jolene Hayes. I'm a principal with Fair and Piers in our Riverside office. Let me see if I can get this opened up real quick. Is it on? Can you hear me okay? All right, I just need to speak into it. Okay. So as Robert was mentioning, we went through this whole process following last year's adoption of the truck route network and started looking holistically at where we want trucks to not be traveling through the community. So today I'm just going to go over what the weight restriction regulations are. So there is some California Vehicle Code requirements associated with designating those prohibitions. Talk about some of the signage that you already have out there prohibiting trucks, and then just go over some additional procedures with Caltrans for implementing. So first things first, I thought it would be really helpful for us to get a handle on what trucks look like by weight. So the signs that you have out in the street, most of them are 3 tons. From what we inventoried, and I'll get to that slide a little bit later, but just to show you a 2-axle 15-ton truck is your typical box truck, a little bit larger than what we'd probably like to see in downtown. The 3-axle 18-ton one is a larger box truck, and then down at the bottom, those are the ones that we really don't want to see traveling through downtown. Those are the ones that cause a lot of problems. They jump off the freeway when it gets congested and cut through your community. So these are some examples of the delivery vehicles. What's interesting, though, is examples of regular passenger vehicles that are up to 10,000 pounds. So the only one on this slide that is less than 8,000, well, actually less than 9,000 pounds is the GMC. And that's because it's not a hybrid. All of the electric vehicles, for the most part, are creeping up to about 10,000 pounds now. So that's 5 tons, which exceeds even what you have for 3-ton delivery trucks. To show you what a 7-ton delivery vehicle looks like, this is about the max. So the Amazon delivery vans that are all electric, for example, would fall into this category. So I think these are vehicles that we would be accepting in some of our commercial areas, especially serving some of our businesses along 6th Street. These are the types of vehicles we'd want to see. So 7 tons feels like an appropriate limit, which is why we landed on it. The existing signage that we have is primarily focused on 6th Street and in the logistics area, which is just south of the 10 freeway. So that's where the majority of the signage we observed. There's 39 signs that we saw out there limiting both parking and truck route access. All of those are 3-ton limits. So that's one of the recommendations, is that we up that limit to 7 tons. And then revisit where the signage would be located. The truck parking, we're not covering that piece in this study, but I know it is something that at some point you will probably want to revisit. The truck route prohibitions, these are the corridors that we're recommending. So taking 6th Street, for the most part, the only piece of 6th Street we're recommending to remain is the piece between Pennsylvania and Highland Springs. There are several truck serving uses along that section of 6th Street, but anything west of Pennsylvania, we are recommending prohibition. This allows trucks to get on and off the freeway at Highland Springs in Pennsylvania to access that portion of 6th Street. Everything else above there, we're recommending prohibitions. With the exception of Oak Valley, there's a shopping center there on the corner of Beaumont and Oak Valley, so just from an enforcement perspective, allowing trucks to continue to use that and having the designated signage out there. So if you don't designate them as a truck route, you don't have the right signage out there pointing trucks in the right direction, which is why we'd like to designate them. The only other segment south of the freeway is on that segment of 4th Street that cuts through a residential area. This is really something we didn't foresee happening, but there's the truck route legislation, Assembly Bill 98, that passed last year, that requires the truck routes in your general plan. You guys were ahead on that, but SB 415 was signed last week. And I think by enforcing the removal of trucks on this section of sensitive receptors goes even further. So I think you're well ahead of the game with the implementation of this. And, kudos on the planning earlier. I think this goes hand in hand with just explaining how well planned your community is, both from a land use perspective as well as a transportation network. So kudos to all of you. The weight route restrictions. This is the signage that's being proposed. We have a report that's going to be delivered to Robert and his group so that they can go out there and install the signage. So that's a technical report that we'll be delivering. But this is typically what the signs would look like and locations where they would be installed. On the Caltrans facility, this is the only place where we really have to interact with them is on Beaumont Avenue. So to prevent trucks from exiting Beaumont Avenue and continuing north when they exit the freeway, we have to work with Caltrans. First things first is having the city council approve an ordinance or a resolution. That sets the action for Caltrans to begin their process, which is going out there and installing the signage at the right locations. So when you're exiting the freeway, there will be a sign saying no right turn for trucks if you're going westbound, or eastbound, no left turns. So that signage is the only way that your enforcement would ever be able to go out there and cite a truck for going north. So that's the next step in this. And that's the end of my presentation. Any questions?
Thank you very much. Nicole, do we have any public comments on this item?
I have no written requests. Vivian, do we have any callers on the line?
No callers.
Okay, then I'll open it up for a council discussion. Councilmember Finn?
Yes, thank you. I'm really proud of what we're doing here. I think it's great, but I do have a couple questions. One is if a delivery is being made on a restricted street, I'm not sure what the term's called. They got some type of bill of lading or something that shows, hey, I've got an invoice thing here and I'm heading that direction. So if police were to pull them over, they could show that, and that's their get out of a ticket card in a sense, and they can
Correct.
continue on. Okay. And then the next one is, I would imagine our local businesses would catch on fairly quickly, but for folks coming in out of the area, for out of area deliveries, I understand that there's software that, or map, like a Google Maps for trucks. Is that correct? And then how would that get updated? How do we get the information to that? So if we have, some Amazon truck driver that hasn't been in the area before and he's coming from the port or something and coming our direction, that driver would know which way to go ahead of time before he gets stuck.
That's one thing that we're currently working with Caltrans on, and that's region-wide. We are trying to figure out the best way to get those GIS maps out to the industry. So it's not just your community, it's all of these cities are being required to put in these truck routes. They're only usable if the information gets out there. So Caltrans and even cities can regularly work with like Google and Waze, but there is proprietary. For trucks, generally, they have their own proprietary trucking information, and they do seek it out. They will go to city maps and regularly update their software so the truck drivers have the best information available.
So is that a pay service from us to them, or is that just something that they offer, and as long as we're updated and we've done what we're supposed to, we would expect that they would catch on and update and so forth?
Yes.
Okay. But then that's still not an excuse if somebody pulls into town once this ordinance is in place and so forth.
Which is why the signage is key.
Very good. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Councilmember White?
Yeah, I have a couple questions. What does a truck priority designate? What does that mean?
That is where trucks are supposed to go.
Okay.
So that's the truck routes. We just, for some reason, called them Truck Priority Network.
Okay. So the question that I know I will get asked is Highland Springs North is truck prohibition. Highland Springs South is not either truck prohibition or truck priority. And so why are we doing that?
Banning? I know half of the roadway is owned by Banning and half of it is owned by Beaumont, and Banning is an agreement on the north piece of State Route or of Interstate 10.
Yeah, so there are a lot of commercial sites like Walmart and other facilities that will rely on trucks quite a bit there. And then with the extension of Sun Lakes Boulevard, thank you. There will be an emphasis on a truck route through Sun Lakes Boulevard from First Street to Sun Lakes Boulevard. So can you bring up that map?
Sure.
That shows the
Yeah.
prohibited streets?
Yeah, this is
so-
the prohibited, right?
Yeah, so
Okay.
First Street, you can see there is a priority, and it's only the segment in between First Street and the 10 freeway that's kind of undefined.
First of all, I liked your answer because the question I'll get it from is a council member in Banning as to why we're not banning the south side. The second question is so the signs going north on Highland Springs will be for both sides of Highland Springs. Banning has do we need to get their approval on that, or is this just the west side of?
The south side obviously is within Beaumont's control. The north side, we will have to work with Banning to get those signages up.
Okay, but what I'm saying is on the north side, we're showing that as truck prohibition. So you will have sign, so my understanding is that Banning is okay with that? And so we'll have signs going on both sides of the street?
Ideally, we will have signs going on both sides of the street. We will have
Okay.
to, for the northern traffic, we'll have to work with Banning to ensure that they're on board with this.
Is there any Banning city council action that needs to take place for us to put our signs on Highland Springs?
Yes, so they will have to designate the same reach as prohibited, and we'll have to work with them on that.
Okay.
So, since this discussion now has pivoted into what was just discussed, I'm going to recuse myself. I did not expect that we were going to get into a discussion like that, but I'm going to recuse myself.
That is all that I had, Mayor. That's all.
That's it?
Yeah.
No, you're good. Good. So, real quick, if you go back to the picture showing the 7-ton vehicles, or those that are, yes, those. Do we know what the weight of the electric Amazon vehicles are? Do they exceed that 7,000?
The electric vans, they're on here. They're basically the one in the bottom left. So those are approximately what the Amazon all electric ones are.
Okay. And I'm glad that we are ahead of the game on both the SB 415 and the general plan, so.
I do have,
Sure.
sorry, one more question. You had mentioned that there were non-delivery vehicles, commercial vehicle, or what are they, personal vehicles, I guess you would call them, that are above they're not above 7 ton. 10,000 is what you were saying
Yeah.
those Teslas are?
They're at 5. They're at about 5 tons.
5 tons?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Councilmember Finn?
Yes, question for staff. So we have a 2x2x2 truck route subcommittee where we reach out to Banning and Calamasa. I would imagine that we can then take that signing question to the city council, or to Banning about that, but I don't want to wait to have this move forward, so would we need to direct staff to reach out to the city of Banning for signage on North Highland Springs?
We would, because it's in their jurisdiction and
Okay.
not ours.
Okay.
I do want to let council know that I did notify both CMs, Banning and Calamasa. I sent them the links to the staff report and the attachments, and so they are aware that we are having this conversation
All right.
tonight.
Okay, very nice, thank you.
Councilmember Martinez?
And I just wanted, thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to comment on the increase in the fee, the citation amount. That definitely necessary. I couldn't believe when I saw $50 there. That's my question is that a second part? So I didn't want to go into that
Yeah.
if you were that. Okay, I'll hold off for that then.
And signage, the new signs that go up, will there be any flashing lights to indicate that these are new, or do we need to do anything like that? You know how we do like a new stop sign? Will we need to do something like that as well?
No, so the flashing signals are generally for changes in traffic behavior at a new stop sign, or similar circumstances. I don't think that this would meet that same need.
Okay.
However, I think that it would be critical for the city and the PIO to work together with the community that we have, the industrial warehouses, the commercial areas, and just make sure that they are fully aware of what we're intending to do.
Okay, thank you very much. Seeing no further questions? Yeah, that's it.
Sorry about
Part
that.
two.
So, as part of this ordinance, we are increasing the fees for For commercial parking enforcement violations, they are currently at a $50 minimum fee, and staff is recommending increasing that to a $500 fee, minimum fee. And that will be sorry, my pages are out of sequence here. Yeah, so that'll be part of the Beaumont Municipal Code, Section 1.16.030. It'll be a new Section D that identifies $500 as the minimum fines for both violating the truck route and using undesignated truck parking.
And so, Mayor, I wanted to point out that our traffic enforcement sergeant, Sergeant Clark, is here tonight with us in case you have specific questions on traffic enforcement as it relates to truck traffic.
Okay, thank you for that. Do we have any? Councilmember White?
Yeah, I have, when it talks about a $500 imposed for unauthorized parking of any commercial vehicle, it's not saying commercial vehicle over a certain tonnage, correct? Or is that falling back to the?
No, it doesn't list that. I think it's inferred.
We can make that change to clarify it.
Yeah.
So my question is, if we've had this discussion on another issue where commercial vehicles in residential areas, and so my question there would be, is it the 7 tons or more, or is it, if it's residential, can we have a different guideline there?
Certainly. Sergeant Clark, is there vehicle code already?
I think here also under definitions, it says for the purposes of this chapter, the word truck means any commercial vehicle with a gross vehicular weight in excess of 7 tons, except those vehicles expressly exempt in this chapter. So.
We can add language about the residential streets.
Okay.
So my assumption is 7 tons.
I would like to hear what you have to say.
So there is a vehicle code that defines commercial vehicles. I don't know it off the top of my head, but it's not just the weight of the vehicle, it's the purpose of the vehicle. So if you have So if you have let's say a Dodge dually pickup 3500 or a Ford F-350 dually, by itself, that's not necessarily a commercial vehicle. But if there is a trailer attached to that vehicle that has the ability to carry 14,999 pounds, then it's considered a commercial vehicle. Or if that box truck that may be under 7 tons is used for commercial purpose, it is considered a commercial vehicle, and it can be cited under the code.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Councilmember Martinez?
Yeah, so just once again, I think the upping it to the 500, I think would definitely put a more bite, and cause a better deterrent than what we're doing now. And I think I read somewhere that the truck that we bought for commercial enforcement is doing well. I mean, it's serving its purpose, and they feel that they have the equipment they need to enforce this, correct?
Correct. The one issue, though, is the amount of the citations right now. It's my understanding that the trucking industry doesn't see that enough as a deterrent, and so that's why we're here tonight. Darren and Robert and the police department worked together to come up with the dollar amount on what they believe would be a deterrent.
Okay, very well, thank you.
Seeing no questions, we have a motion? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, sure, Mayor, I'll move to approve the draft ordinance and to direct staff to schedule a public hearing.
I'll second.
Have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Finn?
Yes.
Councilmember Martinez?
Yes.
Councilmember White?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Voigt?
Yes.
Mayor Laura?
Yes. That brings us to item J4, credit and reimbursement agreements.
Yeah, thank you. Nicole, is this computer able to? Yeah, we did. Can I have IT share my screen? Thank you. All right, so this item is discussing the credit and reimbursement agreements. The list on your screen is also provided as an attachment in the staff report. Just a couple stipulations with this. It is not an exhaustive list. We went back to 2007 and then also really focused on the CFDs or agreements that council is most familiar with. In summary, there's only one CFD that still has an outstanding credit obligation, and that is CFD 2023-1 with Meritage Homes and Fairway Canyon. The improvements there are Sorenston Road and PA 2021B park improvements. All the other credit agreements for CFDs have been issued bonds. Another comment about this report is that it is the agreement side of the CFDs. So it is their intent when they entered into the CFD agreement. However, there may be a bond that wasn't issued in the amount that was in the agreement. Their priorities may have changed. The improvement didn't cost as much, so I just want to make that clear distinction. Staff is able to do a deeper dive on any one of these items, should council choose so. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions regarding this. This does include both CFD credit agreements, TUMF credit agreements, and any DIF credit agreements that the city entered into.
Thank you very much. Nicole, do we have any public comment on this item?
I have no written requests. Vivian, do we have any callers on the line?
No callers.
Okay. This is a receiving, well,
I got a
Councilmember Finn.
Yeah, I got a quick question, thank you. Robert, for the Fairway Canyon neighborhood that's in process, is that the group of homes that's currently being built and nearly finished, or is that the area where the grading work is going on? Do we know? Do you understand my question?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Meritage Homes is, I think they're under construction.
Okay.
The houses themselves.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, thank you.
So their Meritage has different phases, and they are getting ready to issue bonds, can you hear me, on phase 1 and 2, and then they are currently working on the formation for phase 3. So you have a lot of them that are fully completed, but then they're also still working on construction for new ones.
So phase 3 we could assume is that hillside they're currently grading?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Voigt?
Yeah, I really want to say thank you guys for this. Sometimes it's nice to see it in a linear thing, linear structure, to identify what, has been bonded out. So I really want to thank you for that, and the deep dive that you guys took in. It's nice to kind of just scroll through and see, the partnership that goes into these as well. So thank you, and I appreciate that.
So no further, this is a receive and file. Thank you very much. Brings us to item J5, update on the transit and school district coordination responsibilities and funding sources.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I have with me tonight Elisa Mendoza, our transit manager, to give you this update.
So I wanted to dive into our funding and to go over that to start with, and our California's main transit funding. Oh, much better. So we have two main components to our transportation. First one is local transportation funds, which is a 1/4-cent sales tax, and it's budgeted yearly for our operations. Our state transit assistance is funding comes from statewide diesel fuel tax and applied to capital projects. What is the TDA funding requirement from us
for the funding. We have to provide public services on a consistent schedule. Our fare box recovery ratio will rise to 20% in fiscal year 27 and 28. We have annual audits and triennial reviews that are required from us. Coordination with Beaumont Unified School District for us means that we ensure services are open to all with a consistent schedule, not flexible around school schedules. Currently, Beaumont Unified School District transports qualifying TK to fifth graders per state law. Several routes that we provide service the Unified School District campuses supporting student mobility during start and dismissal hours of operation. So our routes are, for example, Route 3, we connect from Walmart to the high school, middle schools, and Cherry Valley. Our Route 4 serves Walmart, Civic Center, library, and both middle schools. Our peak routes are 71, 72, and Route 9. And those travel through neighborhoods like Tournament Hills, Olivewood Community, and Seneca Springs, and also provide service to the high schools and the middle schools. Ongoing support for our community is we offer free rides for youth 18 and under the LC Top grant. We also provide route information that's shared through community events like pop-up events, back-to-school nights, through Parent Square, plus the Transit app has real-time tracking, which is really liked by parents, primarily. Transit Department evaluates the Beaumont Unified School District hours of operation for the start time and for the end time. So we try to provide drop-off at 0 period and first period for all schools, and as well as after school, but we just don't, right now, we don't capture those early releases. And that's a big topic that comes up for us, right? Why aren't we providing that service in the middle of the day? But that's because we are governed to provide a schedule, and we have to abide by it. We just can't make those flexible changes. The good thing is that we are going through a comprehensive operational analysis. So what does that mean for us to be underway with that study? We're looking at all the community input, which is making those changes on the schedules. How can we provide those services to parents that are wanting to get their kids to home during early release? Improving services. We're also going to be launching community outreach for recommendations. We're working with our consultant to kick off community and internal engagement, writer, and community surveys. So part of the consultant team will go on every route, and they will have a one-on-one with each writer. What is transportation missing? What can we do to fill in some gaps and some needs for transportation? So that's the great thing about these operational analysis that's being conducted, and it just kicked off recently. So that's what you will see in the next few months. So again, I was talking about the community engagement and internal engagement that should be coming up actually at the end of this year, and then gathering more data from drivers to see what is the public wanting from us. So there's that part. Also recently, there's been a legislative change for AB 1207 and SB 840 to ensure stable long-term climate-related transit funding through 2046. So LCTOP was due to end in 2030, and it was, we were just a little concerned, well, what are we going to do? Currently, we use LCTOP to offer free ridership on all of our routes, if not discounted programs. So recently, LCTOP has a change of $200 million a year through 2046 to support free and discounted fares to our routes. So we're allowed to use one type of program 3 years consecutively, and then we have to change the program. So then we just figure out ways, how can we keep ridership on our buses by offering different type of incentives and discounts to our riders. Also, funding that's changed is SB 125 had a current one-time funding secure. We did secure funding for our project for a transit yard. And so now it seems like that's grown and that should be available for competitive funding at a later time. So we'll be looking into that in the future. With that, I think I've covered everything. If you have any questions for me.
Thank you very much. Nicole, do we have any public comments on this item?
I have no written requests. Vivian, do we have any callers on the line?
No callers.
Thank you. I'll open it up for council comments or questions. Councilmember Finn.
Yes, Elisa, thank you very much. One of my concerns in bringing this up was hearing about LC Top being in jeopardy and wonder what we were going to do in the future. So seeing that passed, is good news. And then also too, just a comment, you can tell when school lets out in the city of Beaumont. And so was another reason why I asked for this, just to show what the city is trying to do in those efforts and so forth. So I appreciate the efforts that are being put forward and for the constant improvement and so forth. And then also understanding the limitations that we have as well. So I appreciate the report and the effort that was put into it. Thank you.
If I may add to, we are not federally funded. So we are state and local funding only. I did ask RCTC if they could bring a presentation to one of our TNOW meetings like we had talked about, just to know what all funding sources are out there that we could potentially explore in the future as well. And since I'm not the expert on federal funding, I definitely asked for RCTC to come in and do that for us.
That's great. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Just a quick question. On the survey that you're doing, are you going to reach out to Beaumont Unified School District and have them get that information out to all their parents so that?
Yeah, through Parent Square. We're hoping that we'll have that communication. As we're going to be jumping on board of all the buses, or the consultant and their team will be, but we will be looking at sharing that out. And all of the information, like all the suggestions and comments that come in, we log everything. And so when we receive those comments and suggestions, we keep a log of everyone so that we can reach out to them and let them know this is the opportunity that you can have for your input, because we want that input to go to the consultants for something to work on.
Right, and I just want to make sure the parents are aware, because sometimes when you ask the kid, what did you do at school today, or it's like, well, I just did this, you get one-word answers, and so sometimes parents are not fully informed of what's going on, so I just appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
If there are no further questions, this is a receive and file. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That brings us to item J6, 2025 State of the City Updates and Key Metrics. Ms. Julie.
I think I learned my lesson. Now I'm making sure the mic's on before I start. Thank you so much for having me, Mayor and City Council. I wanted to share a quick recap of the 2025 State of the City, which carried a theme of Innovate to Elevate. And so the event itself captured where Beaumont is headed. Strong partnerships, smart investments that are moving us forward. And so internally, we use that same momentum and teamwork for the first time as the city to put on the entire event all in-house, planning, production, and all. And it was a huge success, and I think we can probably all agree to that. I received a lot of feedback since the event, and it was sold out, as you're probably aware. We had over 300 people in attendance. The program included 2 videos totaling 15 minutes, a keynote speech from Mayor Mike Lara, and a beautification award presentation by the Chamber of Commerce. The response from the community was also well received. We saw over 1,800 clicks on our event webpage itself, which was actually a new venture this year around. And we also saw some strong engagement on social media. Financially, the event was also solid. We brought in over $67,000 in ticket sales and sponsorships, thanks to the hard work of the economic development team and city leadership, making those connections. Expenses were just under $100,000, coming in around $96,000 in total. including video production, which is an annual thing we do. Food, we had a plated dinner this year, and a $30,000 donation to the Beaumont Chamber of Commerce. So the net cost was about $29,000 this year, which was covered through the regular budget and some contingency funds. So hosting the event ourselves this year was a great opportunity. It had some challenges, but we implemented some good strategies from the get-go. We automated the registration process online, including the ability to pay online, which was new this year. We navigated a new venue with Four Seasons and manage logistics and the video production that goes with the program as well. And we embraced those challenges. And it allowed us to welcome about 100 more attendees this year than in previous years. And then with that, it allowed us to create a program, I think, that truly reflected the energy and spirit of Beaumont. And so I mentioned, too, there was a team effort here. It kind of strengthened our teamwork across departments. It built some new skills. And I think it set the stage for an even stronger event this next year. And as I close, I just want to thank the mayor and city manager for allowing us to bring it in-house. It was quite a feat, but you guys had great vision. And we had a wonderful but mighty committee team that saw every detail along the way, and a lot of staff that came in the day of to help us. And we had a tight time frame, and there was a village there. And so really a shout out to everyone who helped out. And that concludes my presentation for tonight.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Nicole, do we have any public comment on this item?
I have no written requests. Vivian, do we have any callers on the line?
No callers.
Thanks. So I'll open it up for council comments. Councilmember White?
It was very outstanding. Good job. Hearing from a lot of people that they were just very impressed. So I think it worked out well. I have one question. The Beaumont Chamber donation, is that an annual cost or a one-time cost?
Right now, it's a one-time cost unless council would like to add that to next year's budget.
Okay, that's what I thought, that it was a one-time cost. So without that cost, then you did break even.
That's
basically.
right.
Yes. And that's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just wanted to state how much I appreciate everybody's input. The team was small but mighty. And then the day of the event, everybody in the city was out there trying to move tables around, and Nicole was citing all the views. So I appreciate all the effort. And thank you for that. And this is a receive and file. That brings us to item K, legislative updates and discussion. Mr. Darren.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. As the 2025 legislation session comes to a close, the governor has until next Monday to sign or veto hundreds of bills that are currently on his desk. Tonight, I'll provide a brief update on the legislation we've been tracking, both that directly affect the city and others that could shape future local policy. The first bill is AB 130, which has to do with housing and ADUs. This bill advances the housing production by streamlining CEQA for qualifying infill housing projects and making permanent self-housing accountability measures permanent. AB 339 has to do with employee organization notice requirements, which requires cities to give advance notice and recognition labor organizations before issuing RFPs or RFQs representing or affecting classifications. SB 634 has to do with homelessness. This bill would prohibit local jurisdictions from restricting individuals or organizations from providing food, water, other survival assistance to individuals experiencing homelessness. SB 415 and AB 735 are logistic use. There are cleanup bills for AB 98. Both bills clarify language from prior warehouse and logistic development legislation, including updates to truck route planning. AB 920 has to do with the permit streamlining process for housing portals. This bill would require larger cities to develop centralized online portals for housing development applications, increasing transparency and efficiency. Although it wouldn't directly impact us now, it's something that could be in the future. AB 992 has to do with peace officer education. This measure would establish new education and certification standards for peace officer candidates beginning 2031. And then SB 31 is recycled water. This bill modernized recycled water definitions to support expanded irrigation use and drought resilience, helping communities make more efficient use of non-potable water. And then some of the bills that we're watching is SB 707, which revises teleconferencing rules for local legislative bodies and extends remote participation options through 2030. SB 423 addresses real property transfer taxes and affordability covenants primarily affecting larger urban jurisdictions. AB 1207 extends California's cap and trade program through 2046 for oversight on greenhouse gas investments. SB 840 updates the state climate investment structures and relocates greenhouse gas reduction fund revenues. And then lastly is SB 254, which creates a power program to reduce wildfire and energy costs through public finance mechanisms. In summary, this has been an active and wide-range legislative session covering housing, labor, homelessness, energy, and water policy. Many of these measures will shape the state's approach to housing production, environmental sustainability, and workforce management for years to come. We'll provide a comprehensive follow-up report on October 21st, once the governor has completed his review to confirm which bills were signed and which were vetoed. Thank you for this time this evening, and staff's available for any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Darren. Nicole, do we have any comments on this item, public comment?
I have no written requests. Vivian, do we have any callers on the line?
No callers.
Okay, then I'll open it up for council discussion. Councilmember White?
Thank you. Outstanding report. I appreciate that. I really like the connection to Ledge Info. I think that's useful because I go there often and I'm always trying to figure out what bill I'm looking at. So I like being able to see the bill here first. I did want to ask about the status of the tax sharing agreement that we've all been concerned about. That, as far as I understand, never did become a bill. And, you know, what's the future on that one?
It did die. I think it's been a year now.
Okay.
To my knowledge, and we stay on track to see if anybody's introduced it.
Okay.
And so far, it hasn't been introduced.
Okay, and if it were introduced in the next legislative session and passed as soon as it could be, when would that take effect, if you have any idea?
Usually when those bills are introduced, they would have a date in there that it would be implemented.
Okay.
If they're having it under a budget bill, those are usually immediately. So
Okay.
as soon as it's signed, it would take to effect immediately. But sometimes with items like that, they would have a future date. that
Like
it would be
January
imposed.
1st of
Yeah.
27 or something like that?
Correct.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Darren, the question that I have on AB 130. I know that just before it went to the governor, there was some changes. One of the changes was that it included, I'll call it, I'm probably using the wrong term, but a tax on new construction homes, a VMT. Can you please give me a little bit of background? Because the position we have currently is to support it. But with this last change, before it was signed by the governor, I'm not sure if I'm comfortable with supporting this.
Of course. So AB 130 originally had to do with infill housing and the development of ADUs. And it was introduced back in January, and 4 days before it was signed, it was considered a budget trailer bill. So because it was a budget bill, any changes that occurred to it happened or imposed immediately. And some of the changes that were included were a VMT tax, so it's a vehicle miles traveled fee that would be imposed on developers if there was an impact during the CEQA process, if it was determined that there was an impact on the traffic within the community. And so after working with our consultant earlier today, CPPG, it is determined that that impact is optional to be imposed on the developers during the CEQA process. So if those fees are collected, it would go into a state fund, which is called the Transit Oriented Development Implementation Fund. And the funds that are placed in there, which is managed by HCD, would then be used for infill and low-income housing all throughout the state, not to the local region that the fees were collected. So the city would have the authorization of collecting those fees during the CEQA process with the developer if they decided they wanted to.
Thank you very much. So the concern that I have is I spoke with BIA. Their concern is the additional cost that are impact to new home sales. So when California is trying to work on affordable housing to add a tax, San Diego did a study, and I think they're looking at a potential increase of $100,000 to the new home. The other concern I have with this is, as Darren indicated, was that the VMT would go to HCD, which means that it would not necessarily impact the area that the VMT was collected in, which is another concern that I have. I know that WRCOG is working on something right now to have their process kept local. So just at this point, I'm not in favor of supporting this bill, or I know it's already approved, but can we oppose it and or what are our options at this point, Darren?
So speaking to our legislative consultant, although the bill has passed and is law, what we could do is write an opposition letter to HCD, since they would be the ones managing this fund, and letting them know that we would oppose the language in the law that would allow them to use the funds throughout the whole state. And we could ask them to have the funds more regionally. So if funds are collected in the city of Beaumont, then they would be used in the city of Beaumont, or at least in the county, depending on how we would phrase that letter.
Okay. I don't know if there's an interest to do that from this council at this point. But.
The question I have on that is, it's written into the law. So in order for a change like that, it wouldn't be another legislative action that we would then oppose or support. I don't know that we want to send an opposition letter to a bill that's already been signed by the governor.
We would have to propose another legislative action, another bill to go through the entire legislature with.
Any bill that we would propose that would come through the legislature, this legislature?
We'd have to work with our representatives in Sacramento.
Understood, but what I'm suggesting is any bill that we would propose for that will definitely be worse by the time it gets out. And I think at this point, we just find a way to move on.
Thank you. Councilmember Martinez.
I guess would it be moot to at least on record put rescind our support? I mean, we can make it known publicly that now that it's been tweaked in a different way. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. It's moot because it's already passed. That's.
If that's a precedent we want to start, I've got a whole bunch of bills that we could start sending letters out to.
Councilmember Finn?
Yeah, and just to confirm, for the VMT, it's up to the local jurisdiction. For example, if something came to Beaumont on that, we could choose to enforce that or require that or not, correct?
That is correct.
And
And
so
then
that-
there's no fines or penalties if the city decides not to implement those fees for
Okay.
the developers.
So then state law saying, hey, you could go somewhere else, when it said fine, then maybe this council says, fine, we won't impose that fee.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
So just to make sure I'm clear, the VMT though, in and by itself would still have to, the CEQA process and any project that would come would still need to pay that VMT should it be indicated as such, right? Meaning the criteria? Is that?
So per our legislative consultant, they stated that during the CEQA process, the city or the lead developer, or the lead person, the authority on this project, has the option to impose those fees if during the CEQA process it's determined that there is the VMT that exceeds a certain amount. The state hasn't provided those fees or the calculation yet. They have up until 2026 to provide those to local jurisdictions. But even then, the city or county has the authority to impose those fees to the developer. And if the city decides not to, there will be no fee or penalty to the city or the jurisdiction.
Okay. I would still suggest that we work with WRCOG and look into their program. I know that Chris Gray is creating something that I guess he's going around the state to share with. Okay. That's all I have. Thank you. Thank you very much, Darren. Brings us to economic development update.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Just a brief update. The Economic Development Committee did not have a September meeting, so we don't have a lot to report. There will be a meeting, a regular meeting tomorrow. We are in the process. We are in the process of kicking off the update to our Economic Development Strategic Plan, kicking off meetings with the consultant, and we'll have a schedule developed for that process very soon. Do want to share that last week we had continued very meaningful and optimistic conversations at ICSC in Palm Springs, and Mayor Pro Tem was there and participated in a lot of those. Thank you. Obviously, we can't name names, and we will have a report next council meeting with a little more detail about the conversations, but the momentum continues and the feedback continues to be very positive. So a lot of good things in the works that I think we will be able to benefit from in the coming year.
Thank you very much. City Treasurer report? Seeing none. City Clerk report? None tonight, thank you. City Attorney report? And we have City Manager report.
Just a few announcements, Mayor. This Saturday is the Public Safety Memorial Ceremony at 9 a.m. out front. There will be several names added to the memorial. They are all from fire. We did not have any law enforcement names submitted this year. On October 18th, the infamous Monster Mash event will happen at the Chatney Center from 1 to 5. Our Public Works Director revisited a traffic analysis for potential stop sign at Elm Avenue and Oak Valley Parkway in anticipation of the Regency Shopping Center. And this time around, several months after the first one, it is warranted. And so you will be seeing a stop sign at that intersection in the next couple weeks, and we will do heavy marketing to let everybody know. Eventually, Regency has been conditioned to put a traffic signal at that intersection, and so this is a way for us to get ahead of conditioning traffic to stop at that, at Elm and Oak Valley Parkway. And then the last thing I have to announce, I just found out a few minutes ago, Regency is planning a groundbreaking ceremony for everybody, for their property in mid-November, and we'll have more information on that as it evolves, but we've been in constant communication with them and they're planning one, so stay tuned.
What time is the memorial ceremony?
9 a.m.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Brings us any future agenda items. Councilmember White? Okay. That brings us to council reports. Councilmember Finn.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I attended the Regional Water Alliance meeting, and there was a presentation by Dan Jaggers on recharge and recycled water update discussion. And in that, they gave an overview of the groundwater basins in the area, what recharge facilities were out there. Also, too, for San Gregorio Pass Water Agency, the new land that they purchased, they're looking to do another recharge pond, and so they'll have Brookside East, which is the existing, and then they'll call it Brookside West for the new one in the future. Also, Yucaipa Valley Water District in the city of Calamasa, they're working on a recharge facility. And then just some notes for potential for us in the future when it comes to recycled water, that there may be a requirement that any recycled water recharge may need to be blended. An example, if we were to put 500 acre feet into the water, we might have to blend it with 2,000 acre feet of other water, like state, water project, state project water, and so forth. So that may be something that we need to consider in the future for a future discussion on what to do with our recycled water. And then I attended Calamasa State of the City. That was a nice event. RTA's finance, and then at our recent TNOW meeting for transportation, we had a presentation from RTA on their route changes, and they also advertised that the upcoming Veterans Day, that veterans will get to ride free with RTA. That's my report.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Martinez.
Thank you, Mayor. I attended the Glenview High School expansion ceremony, also the Beaumont Unified School District's new facility ribbon cutting ceremony as well. Calamasa State of the City. I checked in on the Beaumont Chamber breakfast. And for the RCA, we talked about our fire mitigation plan and a possible plan amendment. We have a species called the crotchous bumblebee that is everywhere. And what we're trying to do is get that put into the plan of course, to help mitigate development and preserve habitat and so forth. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember White?
I want to start by apologizing for not being able to attend the ICSC in Palm Springs. I basically have run out of vacation hours with Cal Cities, and I also represent RCTC on CalCog, and they're having a 2-day event in Palm Springs, which I need to attend as well. So I'm glad to hear that there was good feedback, and appreciate that Mayor Pro Tem was able to attend. Last Friday, we participated in the Battle of the Cities, and Doug and Jamie were partnered with the mayor and myself. Those guys are playing a little bit more golf than working, probably, except for Doug was working almost every hole, and it was impacting his game for sure. And even if we skipped 2 holes and still was not anywhere near a low score. So we still had a good time though. I attended the CVP dinner, which is always, for me, one of my favorite events to attend. The mayor was there as well. The Calamasa State of the City event was impressive to see all 5 council members there. I don't know that that's happened at another state of the city other than our own. And what's that? At lunchtime. Yeah, I had to leave and I missed the moving speech by our state senator. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Voigt?
Yes, I had the opportunity, just kind of speaking to animal control, to do a site visit to some of our local area down in the south of the county. So I need to see some of those things, and I have another one tomorrow down in San Jacinto as well. Attended the Calamasa State of the City, and yes, I agree with Kirk. ICSC was definitely moving, and things are moving forward for Beaumont. So it's very exciting to hear how much momentum is coming for the city. So very exciting time for us. And I was very encouraged by all of those conversations. Thank you to the team for all that they set up. It was very well organized and structured, and I, of course, appreciate that. And then I was able to attend the Oktoberfest this weekend that the Beaumont Cherry Valley Parks and Recreation District put it on. Always a fun event. So that's it for me.
Thank you. So I attended the WRCOG meeting. We do have a retirement coming up from WRCOG. Princess Hester will be retiring soon. Also attended Calamasa State of the City. Was invited to ride in the parade at Four Seasons in Beaumont to celebrate their 20-year anniversary. It was great to see. We had CAL FIRE represented there as well as our PD. It's really great to see everyone out there like that, supporting our local community. Ribbon cuttings, we did the Glenview classroom expansion as well as the Extended Learning Opportunities Program expansion. They did mention for that Learning Opportunities, which is basically their after-school programs, that the Boys and Girls Club is extremely helpful with that program. So just remember that as we move forward for bonds and whatnot. And also the CVP dinner was great. I love the cookies. I didn't take more than my share, just so you know. But it was a great program, and I do appreciate their dedication. The number of hours was amazing whenever you state that out on that during that program. And that is all I have. And with that, we will adjourn this meeting at 8:02.
Thank you, Reverend.